What's up, guys? This is One Check Away. I'm your host, Nina. I decided to join group therapy today so we can watch the president's State of the Union. It's quite a laugh. Let's see. A lot to say. A lot of lies to spew. Yeah. Oh, where'd it come? There it is. Is that working? Yeah. Oh boy. So I decided to skip a bunch of this that, we just like, they're clapping for each other because they're all on the same team. And, let's clap for Nancy Pelosi because she makes so much money. Okay. Let's watch some lies. Mm-hmm. Oh, God.
Folks, the story of America is a story of progress and resilience, of always moving forward, of never, ever giving up. It's a story unique among all nations. We're the only country that has emerged from every crisis we've ever entered stronger than
Emerged from every crisis, and where the poor got poorer and the rich got richer. Every opportunity they had to, a crisis, oh boy, let's have relief for the businesses, the airlines and the pharmaceutical companies. Yeah, they came out great, didn't they?
We got into it. Look, folks, that's what we're doing again. 2 years ago.
Is he trying to be Porky Pig? That's all, folks. I wish it was all, but they just keep lying. And everything he says he's done right now, or that he's working on, it's just something they put up on the auction block for the lobbyists to lobby against. For the highest bidder.
The economy is reeling. I stand here tonight after we've created, with the help of many people in this room, 12 million new jobs.
Ooh, 12 million part-time jobs with no benefits that maybe pay $20,000 a year, $30,000. Good job, Joe. You know what? I could have 2 part-time jobs and still not get benefits.
More jobs created in 2 years than any president's created in 4 years. Because of you all, because of the American people.
Yes, they're clapping for that because we're getting ripped off more than ever. Yeah, clap.
2 years ago, COVID had shut down. Our businesses were closed. Our schools were robbed of so much. And today, COVID no longer controls our lives. And 2 years ago, democracy faced its greatest threats in civil war. And today, though bruised, our democracy remains unbowed and unbroken.
You mean that the democracy that the rich people have, what your donors have when they write the bills, and the ones they don't like, they sure don't pass. Where's the $15 an hour, Joe? Yeah, you said that just so they lobby for it. You guys are doing fine, I am.
As we gather here tonight, we're writing the next chapter in the great American story, a story of progress and resilience.
The story of the most homeless communities ever, and in Missouri passing a law to where you are criminalized if you're homeless on public property. Well, where are they supposed to go, Joe? Can they come to your house? I only said can we, because we're all this close from being homeless. This fucking close.
When world leaders ask me to define America, they do, believe it or not.
Ooh, Tent City.
I can define it in one word, and I mean this: possibility.
Possibility. You are living in poverty.
We don't think anything is beyond our capacity. Everything is a possibility. You know, we're often told that Democrats and Republicans can't work together. But over the past
2 years and the past 40 years since I've been alive, we come together to screw the workers. Yay! Hooray!
2 years, we proved the cynics and naysayers wrong. Yes, we disagreed plenty. And yes, there were times the Democrats went alone. But
every time we disagree, it's just a little theater for you, all the little people.
Again, Democrats and Republicans came together to defend a strong.
Came together. I bet, you pervert.
And safer Europe. It came together to pass once in a generation infrastructure law, building bridges connecting our nation and our people. We came together to pass the most significant law ever, helping victims exposed to toxic burn pits. And in fact,
this speech is a toxic burn pit. Ugh, I feel cancer right now. Stop clapping.
In fact, I signed over 300 bipartisan pieces of legislation since becoming president, from reauthorizing the Violence Against Women Act, the Electoral Count Reform Act, the Respect for Marriage Act that protects the right to marry the person.
Ooh, what is that called? Identity politics, right? How many people are suffering because of that?
You love. And to my Republican friends, if we could work together the last Congress, there's no reason we can't work together and find consensus on important things in this Congress as well.
We can work together to keep screwing the workers and keep taking more and more of what little they have.
Oh. Thank you. Folks.
Hey, it's up, folks. Stop saying it, Porky Pig. I bet he was a fat kid, I bet. And if he wasn't, well, I'm still calling him fat.
You all are as informed as I am, but I think the people sent us a clear message. Fighting for the sake of fighting. Power for the sake of power. Conflict for the sake of conflict gets us nowhere. That's always been my vision of our country.
Unless it comes to Russia or China, then let's fight all day.
I know it's many of yours. To restore the soul of this nation, to rebuild the backbone of America, America's middle class, and to unite the country. We've been sent here to finish the job, in my view.
Finish the job of the lowest paid worker and of ever the dream of owning a home, or all they're gonna finish the job and take all that stuff. They're doing it right now.
For decades, the middle class has been hollowed out and not one administration, but for a long time. Too many good paying manufacturing jobs move overseas. Factories closed down. Once thriving cities and towns that many of you represent became shadows of what they used to be. Along the way, something else we lost: pride.
This is these are he's not talking to us. He's not talking to the worker. Pride. Give me a break. I was better off when I was 18 years old. I had a nice apartment, a car, and I was making $9 an hour in the early 2000s, and I was okay. I was doing fine.
Our sense of self-worth. I ran for president to fundamentally change things, to make sure our economy works.
Liar! You said things will not fundamentally change. See, liar. Where's that lie meter thing that you guys had for Trump? It'd be coming together and spewing out everywhere all over us.
For everyone, so we can all feel that pride in what we do. Build an economy from the bottom up and the middle out, not from the top down. Because when the middle class does well, the poor have a ladder up, and the wealthy still do very well. We all do well.
Oopsie.
I know a lot of you always kid me for always quoting my dad, but my dad used to say, Joey, a job's a bottle.
Joey, you think your dad would be proud of you today? Watching you screw over Americans, working families, looking at the tent cities and go, that's my son Joe, ooh, boy. No, he wouldn't.
A lot more than a paycheck. He really would say this. It's about a lot more than a paycheck. It's about your dignity. It's about.
That's what I'll tell the grocery store and all the other bills I can't pay. I have dignity because Joe Biden said the paycheck didn't matter.
Respect. It's about being able to look your kid in the eye and say, honey, it's going to be okay.
How's it going to be okay? You never raised the minimum wage, you great man.
And mean it. Folks, so let's look at the results. We're not finished yet by any stretch of the imagination, but unemployment rate is at 3.4%, a 50-year low.
Oh, because, you know, so many part-time jobs with no benefits that don't pay nothing.
Near record unemployment. Near record unemployment for Black and Hispanic workers. We've already created, your help, 800,000 good-paying manufacturing jobs.
Where is that job? That's a job? Where? Those jobs that are 12-hour shifts? Who can do that with kids?
The fastest growth in 40 years.
The fastest growth of poverty is stuck in ever.
Where is it written? Where is it written that America can't lead the world in manufacturing? I don't know where that's written. For too many decades, we imported projects and exported jobs. Now, thanks to what you've all done, we're exporting American products and creating American jobs. Folks, inflation. Inflation has been a global problem because the pandemic disrupted our supply chains and Putin's unfair and brutal war in Ukraine.
That's enough. Putin has nothing to do with our economy, okay? You guys, the inflation, and what's Joe's answer to inflation? Jerome Powell lowering wages? What are you doing, man? Let's talk about that.
Ukraine disrupted energy supplies as well as food supplies, blocking all that grain in Ukraine.
No, the Ukrainians put all the bombs in the sea to stop Russia from exporting the freaking grain. Get it through your head. And besides, I think Russia sent Africa and Cuba free grain. Do we send anybody free anything? No.
Well, we're better positioned than any country on earth right now.
Yeah, the rich, he's the rich people are yeah, not everybody else.
But we have more to do. But here at home, inflation is coming down.
It is? Where?
Here at home, gas prices are down $1.50 from
Gas just went up. Liar.
their peak. Food inflation is coming down. Not
I work at a Midwest grocery store. They are not coming down. They're going up still. Gosh, I should have had a lie count here. Should rewind it and start the counts.
Passing up and coming down. Inflation has fallen every month for the last 6 months. Oh, take-home pay has gone up. Additionally,
Liar! Take-home pay has not gone up. You guys keep. Okay, there's two right there. Let's see. We are 15 minutes in. And inflation and take-home pay. Okay, that was BS. What else, Joe? What do you got?
over the last 2 years, a record 10 million Americans applied to start new businesses. 10 million. By the way, every time someone starts a small business is an act of hope. And Madam Vice President, I want to thank you for leading that effort to ensure that small businesses have access to capital and the historic laws we enacted that are going to just come into being. Standing here last year, I shared with you a story of American genius and possibilities. Semiconductors, small computer chips the size of a fingerprint that power everything from cell phones to automobiles and so much more.
And we keep threatening China and trying to start war with China. We ain't gonna get them anymore. And where's the conductor plant? Do we have one? Do we have one here in the United States?
These chips were invented in America. Let's get that straight. They were invented in America. We used to make 40% of the world's chips. In the last several decades, we lost our edge. We're down to only producing 10%. We all saw what happened during the pandemic when chip factories shut down overseas. Today's automobiles need 3,000 chips, each of those automobiles. But American automobiles couldn't make enough cars because there weren't enough chips. Car prices went up, people got laid off. So did everything from refrigerators to cell phones. We can never let that happen again.
And I still won't raise the minimum wage.
That happen again. That's why we came together to pass the Bipartisan Chips and Science Act.
Chips and science, that sounds delicious. Is that a recipe? Chips and a little science and some salsa, and some spices.
Folks, I know I've been criticized for saying this, but I'm not changing.
Look at that guy
my
with the
view.
bow tie.
We're going to make sure the supply chain for America begins in America. Supply chain begins in America.
Oh, I'm sorry. Supply chain. America. There's another one. Beep, beep.
Already created. We've already created 800,000 new manufacturing jobs without this law, before the law kicks in. With this new law, we're going to create hundreds of thousands of new jobs.
800,000 new jobs for chips. Wow. It sounds like a lot. I'm going to look it up though.
Across the country. I mean, all across the country. Throughout not just the coast, but through the middle of the country as well. That's going to come from companies that have announced more than $300 billion in investment in American manufacturing over the next few years. Outside of Columbus, Ohio, Intel is building semiconductor factories on 1,000 acres, literally a field of dreams. It's going to create 10,000 jobs, that one investment, 7,000 construction jobs, 3,000 jobs in those factories once they're finished. They call them factories.
And guess how many immigrants will be here to take those jobs and get paid less and less and less? Because we're just letting them all come through the border, right? Yeah.
Jobs paying an average of $130,000 a year. and many
Yeah, right. They don't make a profit like that, Joe.
do not require a college degree. Jobs. Because we work together, these jobs where people don't have to leave home to search for opportunity. It's just getting started. Think about the new homes, the small businesses, the medium-sized businesses. So much more that's going to be needed to support those 3,000 permanent jobs and the factories that are going to be built. Talk to mayors and governors, Democrats and Republicans, and they'll tell you what this means for their communities. We're seeing these field of dreams transform to the heartland. But to maintain the strongest economy in the world, we need the best infrastructure in the world. Folks, as you all know,
these people standing up and clapping, just making this thing last longer. Dude, stop. Let them talk. Shut up.
we used to be number 1 in the world in infrastructure. We've sunk to 13th in the world. The United States of America, 13th.
And we are sinking by the day. And we used to not have millions of homeless people, but now we're going to number 1 on the top with double that amount of empty homes, right? Right?
In the world in infrastructure, modern infrastructure. But now we're coming back because we came together and passed the bipartisan infrastructure law, the largest investment in infrastructure since President Eisenhower's interstate highway system. Folks, already we've funded over 20,000 projects, including major airports from Boston to Atlanta to Portland. Projects that are going to put thousands of people to work rebuilding our highways, our bridges, our railroads, our tunnels, ports, airports.
All the Mexicans and all the other foreigners that are going to be doing that with that do not belong to this country and who get paid pennies to build American stuff. Good job, Joe.
Clean water, high-speed internet.
Clean water? Where's that? Ask Flint, Michigan. Flint, Michigan, where's the clean water? Oh, dang it. They forgot to do that. Darn it. What can we do?
All across America, urban, rural, tribal. And folks, we're just getting started.
We're just getting started screwing workers even more. We're going to lower your wages, lower your living standards. And there's not going to be anything you can do about it, especially since you guys are fighting all the time. People like Jordan Sheridan and the Vanguard, anyone picking on Jimmy Dore. If you're supposed to be on our team, you got to, then Jimmy Dore should be on your fucking team too. I don't see him talking, no. Let's stick to Joe's speech.
Just getting started. And I mean it sincerely.
He means it as a Biden. You know, all those lies he would tell. And I mean it as a Biden. You know, I'm not lying. And then he was lying. So go ahead. Every time he says, and I mean it, or he says, and as a Biden, I'm telling you, okay, liar. Right? Oh, well, I might as well put that on the lie list.
I want to thank my Republican friends who voted for the law. My Republican friends who voted against it as well. But I still get asked to fund the projects in those districts as well. But don't worry. I promised I'd be a president for all Americans. We'll fund these projects. And I'll see you at the ground.
I will be, you know, all the oppressed and all the homeless. I'm your president. But mostly, the people up top.
Breaking. Look,
If we're worried about inflation, stop spending so much money. You guys are just blah.
this law will further unite all of America. Projects like Brent Spence Bridge in Kentucky over the Ohio River, built 60 years ago, badly needed repairs, one of the nation's most congested freight routes, carrying $2 billion worth of freight every single day across the Ohio River. And folks, I've been talking about fixing it for decades, but we're really finally going to get it done. I went there last month with Democrats and Republicans and from both states to deliver a commitment of $1.6 billion for this project. While I was there, I met a young woman named Sarah, who's here tonight. I don't know where Sarah is. The chef in the box? I don't know. Sarah, how are you? Well, Sarah, for 30 years, I learned, she told me she'd been a proud member of the Iron Workers Local 44, known as the Cowboys in the Sky. Folks who built Cincinnati's skyline. Sarah said she can't wait to be 10 stories above the Ohio River building that new bridge. God bless her. That's pride. And that's what we're also building. We're building back pride. Look, we're also replacing poisonous lead pipes that go into 10 million homes in America.
Where?
400,000 school and child care centers. So every child in America.
Replacing lead pipes. I call bullshit because of Flint, Michigan, and what is it? I think it's Chicago and Florida.
Every child in America can drink the water instead of having permanent damage to their brain. Look, we're making sure.
What's really sick about this is that they don't care if we get sick or drink lead water. They don't care. So this is all lies. This is really hard to watch, man. I mean, it'd be something if everything he was saying was true. This would have been a great speech. But since it's all lies, it's actually really, really sad.
We're making sure that every community in America has access to affordable high-speed internet. No parent should have to drive by McDonald's parking lot to help them do their homework online with the kids, which many thousands were doing across the country. And when we do these projects, and again, I get criticized for this, but I make no excuses for it. We're going to buy American. We're going to buy American. Folks, and it's totally consistent with international trade rules. Buy America has been the law since 1933, but for too long, past administrations, Democrat and Republican, have fought to get around it. Not anymore. Tonight, I'm announcing new standards require all construction materials used in federal infrastructure projects to be made in America.
I'm just gonna construction projects made in America. This is a future, because we'll see if he actually does it. I mean, he can say it all day long. I could say it. Hey, tell my boss, I'm gonna do that job. I swear, I'm gonna do all that extra work. I'm gonna do it. Then just loaf around. I wouldn't have a job for very long.
Made in America. I mean it.
We know when he says, I mean it, it's usually a big filthy lie.
lumber, glass, drywall, fiber optic cable. And on my watch, American roads, bridges, and American highways are going to be made with American products as well. Folks, my economic plan is about investing in places and people that have been forgotten. So many of you listening to me tonight, I know you feel it. So many of you felt like you've just simply been forgotten. Amid the economic upheaval of the past 4 decades, too many people have been left behind and treated like they're invisible. Maybe that's you watching from home. Remember the jobs that went away. You remember them, don't you?
Pepperidge Farm remembers. Yeah, I remember, Joe, and we're not invisible. You step on us every day. You take more and more away from us to give to your rich buddies. Yeah, we know you didn't forget us. You're just stomping on us, oppressing us, and your abuse, man. You want to talk about human rights abuse? Look at America. Leave Putin alone.
Folks at home remember them. You wonder whether the path even exists anymore for your children to get ahead without having to move away. Well, that's why I get that. That's why we're building an economy where no one's left behind.
I think we should call that another line. No one left behind except for all the homeless people.
Jobs are coming back. Pride is coming back. Because choices we made in the last several years.
Do you think those homeless people have pride? The ones that go to work and still can't afford an apartment or even a crappy hotel room? God, you're sick.
You know, this is my view of blue-collar blueprint to rebuild America, make a real difference in your lives at home.
Because we're going to keep taking from you. We're going to keep you down. And everything I offer or say I'm going to do right now, my donors are lobbying for it. They're just, banking out the money if they want it. I mean, if they don't want it, it's gone. Pew! Just like the pride. Gone. Pew!
Example. Too many of you laying in bed at night like my dad did, staring at the ceiling, wondering what in God's names happens if your spouse gets cancer or your child gets deadly ill.
You know what happens? You are dead. You'll be in debt. You'll lose your home. You'll lose everything. Because that's America, Jack. When my husband gets ready for work in the morning, he watches the news. And at one point, the little commercials, they had the healthcare.gov, and it literally said, your health is your wealth. Okay. And just after that commercial, guess what commercial came up next? We will buy your ugly home. What, coincidence? The commercials like, we'll pay the closing costs. We'll move out all the stuff for you. Yeah, those commercials. Because you could see your wealth is your health, and we will take your house. Huh. Take it, sell it, and give it to Steve Mnuchin.
Or something happens to you. What are you going to get money to pay for those medical bills? Or you're going to have to sell the house or try to get a second mortgage on it. I get it.
You don't get it, though. That's the thing. You don't get it. How do you get it? Are you in that boat? Were you ever in that boat? I'm sorry that your son, you know who killed your son, Bo? Your foreign policy. He wouldn't have been out there fighting if we weren't trying to screw every country over. But we continue this behavior so more people can die.
Inflation Reduction Act that I signed into law. We're taking on powerful interests to bring healthcare costs down so you can sleep better at night with more security.
Bring health costs down. Last I seen premiums be going up. Prescription drugs going way up too. And you know what? I don't trust the pharmaceutical companies anymore, man. I don't even take my multiple sclerosis medication anymore. I don't trust them. You know, it's just kind of like it says, well, you won't get better, but you're gonna not progress as fast in your illness. I said, well, how can you prove that to me? Oh, you can't?
You know, we pay more for prescription drugs than any nation in the world. Let me say it again.
And if we didn't, our donors wouldn't be giving us so much money. This is why they are so high. Hello? 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 Anybody home? Think, McFly, think.
We pay more for prescription drugs than any major nation on earth. For example, 1 in 10 Americans has diabetes. Many of you in this chamber do.
And a lot more people will because of the FDA and all the sugar you let be in the schools at breakfast and lunch. Yeah, when you go to the store, it's the only thing your kid can see at their eye level.
Audience. But every day, millions need insulin to control their diabetes so they can literally stay alive. Insulin's been around for over 100 years. The guy who invented it didn't even patent it because he wanted it to be available for everyone. It costs the drug companies roughly $10 a vial to make that insulin. Package it and all, you may get up to $13.
So why don't you actually make a real law to keep them from doing that for everybody? You won't. I don't know why I'm getting mad. I mean, it's just, I should be so used to this by now.
But Big Pharma has been unfairly charging people hundreds of dollars.
Which is why I have my new home and my, what is it, the Ferrari in his in his garage? Yeah. How many homes does he have?
$400 to $500 a month, making record profits. Not anymore.
Liar.
Not anymore. So many things that we did are only now coming to fruition. We said we were doing this and we said we passed the law to do it, but people didn't know because the law didn't take effect until January 1 of this year. We capped the cost of insulin at $35 a month for seniors on Medicare.
This doesn't take effect for, it wasn't 23. I'm pretty sure it wasn't until like 2025, Joe. I'm pretty sure. I'll have to look, but $35 cap. Liars for seniors. Great. Grand. Wonderful.
People are just finding out. I'm sure you're getting.
See, even Nancy was like, she's like, this is hilarious. I can't believe people are still falling for this speech.
Fan calls I'm getting. Look, there are millions of other Americans who do not or are not on Medicare, including 200,000 young people with type 1 diabetes who need this insulin to stay alive. Let's finish the job this time. Let's cap the cost of insulin for everybody at $35.
How about Medicare for all? Oh no. And that's why I think when they try to mandate stuff, you don't mandate nothing for me if you aren't paying my. If we had Medicare for all, then I would listen to a mandate, okay? But until that day, you can take this pencil and, I don't know, stick it in your pee hole. Oh, if I could just cut out the clapping.
Big Pharma's still going to do very well, I promise you all.
And we're gonna make sure of that, because of whatever you're saving on insulin, they're gonna make up for in other drugs. Hello? 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 Anybody home? Think, McFly. Think.
I promise you, they're going to do very well. This law also caps and won't even go into effect until 2025. Costs, out-of-pocket drug costs for seniors on Medicare at a maximum of $2,000 a year. You don't have to pay more than $2,000 a year, no matter how much your drug costs are. Because you know why? You all know it. Many of you, like many of my family, have cancer. You know the drugs can range from.
Do you have cancer? Cancer of the heart, because you have no heart. You know? Remember the King and I? You have no heart. You've never loved anybody. You are a barbarian. Except Yul Brenner was like, oh, she's right. Oh, and he ran off. And then he never ate again. And then he shortly later died.
10, 11, 14, $15,000 for the cancer drug. If drug prices rise faster than inflation, drug companies are going to have to pay Medicare back the difference. And finally, giving Medicare the power to negotiate drug prices. Bringing down prescription drug costs doesn't just save seniors money. It cuts the federal deficit by billions of dollars, by hundreds of billions of dollars. Because these prescription drugs are drugs purchased by Medicare to keep their commitment to the seniors. Well, guess
They're so worried about the deficit. Stop sending our money to Ukraine. Or let's be real, stop sending all of our money to the military-industrial complex. I mean, damn, can't we just take turns once in a while? Okay, how about 1 year you can keep funding those, just make it even. And then the next year, you fund that money to America and to the fucking people. So we can buy stuff, so we can keep those businesses alive.
what?
And you want to cut crime in half? Give people money. Crimes of desperation.
Instead of paying $400 or $500 a month, you're paying $15. That's a lot of savings for the federal government. And by the way, why would we want that? Now, some members here are threatening, and I know it's not an official party position, so I'm not going to exaggerate. But threatening to repeal the Inflation Reduction Act. As my coach, that's okay. That's fair.
Maybe they're just trying to repeal the part where you hire 60,000 IRS agents to go after people. The little people. Don't say you're going after the big guy, because you are just more lies. I mean, they're going to look at people's checking account for over $600. Hey, they're going to make sure you can't afford that $600 emergency. You know what I'm saying?
As my football coach used to say, lots of luck in your senior year.
I just watched Johnny Dangerously the other day. Yeah, I've seen it for a long time. You know how that Maroney guy goes, the Michael Keaton movie where he's a mobster. So you farging ice holes. And he goes, oh, the mouth on that guy.
Make no mistake. If you try anything to raise the cost of precision jobs, I will veto it. Look, I'm pleased to say more Americans have health insurance now than ever in history. A record 16 million people are enrolled in the Affordable Care Act. And thanks to the law I signed last year, saving millions, just saving $800 a year on their premiums. And by the way, that law was written and the benefit expires in 2025. So my plea to some of you, at least in this audience, let's finish the job and make these savings permanent.
Why did we put an expiration date on it then? Huh? Why'd you do that for? You should have just not had them expire. Why don't we expire the military budget, huh? Why don't we do that?
Expand coverage of Medicaid. Look, the Inflation Reduction Act is also the most significant investment ever in climate change. Ever. Lower utility bill.
Where's the lower utility bills? And did you say climate change? Anybody who says they're serious about climate change but keeps sending weapons to Ukraine to blow stuff up, I call BS because Jesus, man. This is infuriating. I just need to calm down for a minute. I didn't know I could calm down. We're used to this now, right?
American jobs, leading the world to a clean energy future. I visited the devastating aftermath of record floods, droughts, storms, and wildfires from Arizona to Mexico to all the way up to the Canadian border.
And I watched all those people in those tents and I kept walking.
More timber has been burned, that I've observed from helicopters, than the entire state of Missouri. And we don't have.
What about overseas where you're bombing all the trees and the infrastructure out there? What about that? That's climate change.
Global warming, not a problem. In addition to emergency recovery from Puerto Rico to Florida to Idaho, we're rebuilding for the long term. New electric grids that are able to weather major storms and not prevent those forest fires. Roads and water systems withstand the next big flood. Clean energy to cut pollution and create jobs in communities often left behind. We're going to build 500,000 electric vehicle charging stations installed across the country by tens of thousands of IBEW workers.
Who can afford those cars, Joe? You're gonna get, how much are they? You got them IRS agents looking for more than $600 in your savings. Then who's gonna buy those? Are you gonna buy everybody one, Joe? Are you gonna make Jeff Bezos buy everybody one? Or those other at BlackRock and those other Chase Manhattan? No, you're not.
And we're helping families save more than $1,000 a year with tax credits to purchase electric vehicles and efficient appliances, energy efficient appliances.
But let's see, who owns most of the houses now? BlackRock? Blackstone? So who's that helping?
Historic conservation efforts to be responsible stewards of our land. Let's face reality.
That's not something we do here, Joe. You bring reality into the table. This is, maybe we could actually fix a problem if you guys lived in reality, or stop piling this crap on us. But we're the most propagandized country in the world. Of course. Jake, what a yoink.
The climate crisis doesn't care if you're in a red or blue state.
We only care if you're in Russia, because we're gonna take Russia and China down, right, Joe? Right? Oh, that weather balloon. Ooh.
It's an existential threat. We have an obligation, not to ourselves, but to our children and grandchildren, to confront it. I'm proud of how America at last is stepping up to the challenge. We're still going to need oil and gas for a while. But guess what? No, we don't. But there's so much more to do. We got to finish the job. We pay for these investments in our future by finally making the wealthiest and biggest corporations begin to pay their fair share. Let's begin. Well, I'm a capitalist. I'm a capitalist, but pay your fair share. I think a lot of you at home agree with me and many people that you know. The tax system is not fair. It is not fair.
Sure.
Look, the idea that in 2020, 55 of the largest corporations in America, the Fortune 500, made $40 billion in profits and paid zero in federal taxes? Zero? Folks.
That's no accident. We're doing the trickle down, we were trickling this shit down. I mean, we're keeping all the money and we're trickling shit down. Can you feel the shit? I could smell the shit.
Simply not fair. But now, because of the law I signed, billion-dollar companies have to pay a minimum of 15%. God love them.
15%? Boy, it's really... Ooh. They won't even pay that. How much you want to bet? I bet you all the money that you give to the military industrial complex, I bet all that money from them that you are full of white hair.
15%. That's less than a nurse pays. Let me be crystal clear. I said at the very beginning, under my plans, as long as I'm president, nobody earning less than $400,000 will pay an additional penny in taxes. Nobody.
Liar. This is really hard. I don't even know if I can make it through this.
Not one penny. Well, let's finish the job. There's more to do.
We'll make you pay through inflation. Come on.
We have to reward work, not just wealth. Pass my proposal for the billionaire minimum tax. There's 1,000 billionaires in America. It's up from about 600 in the beginning. But no billionaire should be paying a lower tax rate than a school teacher or firefighter. I mean it. Think about it.
But they are. And this is why it's really hard to listen to, because it's fact. And you won't do nothing about it. This is the real crime right here. It's time for regime change. Right here.
I mean, look. No, you aren't enthusiastic about that, but think about it. Think about it. Have you noticed Big Oil just reported his profits, record profits? Last year, they made $200 billion in the midst of a global energy crisis.
Oh, and you know how much I got of that? A lot, because they're my boys, me and Joe Manchin and all the other Kirsten Slutema.
I think it's outrageous. Why? They invested too little of that profit to increase domestic production. And when I talk to a couple of them, they say, we're afraid you're going to shut down all the oil wells, all the oil refineries anyway. So
Joe will never do such a thing. Okay. He's like trying to tell Hunter, no, you cannot have a job, a no-show job in Ukraine. No, on an energy board. No. Okay, go ahead.
Why should we invest in them? I said, we're going to need oil.
They don't invest in anything. They line their pockets, dum-dum.
Well, for at least another decade. And that's going to exceed and beyond that. We're going to need it. Production. If they had in fact invested in the production to keep gas prices down, instead, they used the record profits to buy back their own stock, rewarding their CEOs and shareholders. Corporations ought to do the right thing. That's
Joe, they're never going to do the right thing, okay? Never. Haven't you figured this out by now? How old are you, old man? They're not going to do the right thing. This is not in their nature. They don't have a right thing in their bones and their blood. They think the right thing is them keeping the money, okay?
why I propose we quadruple the tax on corporate stock buybacks and encourage long-term investments. They'll still make considerable profit.
We'll make sure of that, because we're not gonna do it. Quadruples. Right.
Let's finish the job and close the loopholes that allow very wealthy to avoid paying their taxes. Instead of cutting the number of audits for wealthy taxpayers, I just signed a law to reduce the deficit by $114 billion by cracking down on wealthy tax cheats.
Ooh, I cracked down. I said, come on, guys, do your part. Pay your pay your share, wealthy corporations. Will you please? No? Well, shucks. Maybe next time. That's what all the Democrats say. Well, elect us now. Okay, we're elected, but we can't do it right now. Sorry. Oh, well, maybe next time we'll have to vote us in again.
That's being fiscally irresponsible. In the last 2 years, my administration has cut the deficit by more than $1.7 trillion.
And we made sure all that money's gonna go fight wars. Yay! Yay! Good job, Joe. Kill more people. This is just what they do.
The largest deficit reduction in American history. Under the previous administration, the American deficit went up 4 years in a row. Because those record deficits, no president added more to the national debt in any 4 years than my predecessor. Nearly 25% of the entire national debt that took over 200 years to accumulate was added by just one administration alone, the last one. They're the facts. Check it out. Check it out. How did Congress respond to that debt? They did the right thing. They lifted the debt ceiling 3 times without preconditions or crisis.
Oh, this is I don't know if I can make it through this. I have to stop and come back to the rest. I don't know. I've already made it long enough. By God. A little longer, I guess. Oh, I feel sick.
They paid American bills to prevent an economic disaster in the country. So tonight I'm asking the Congress to follow suit. Let's commit here tonight to the full faith and credit of the United States of America will never, ever be questioned. So some of my Republican friends want to take the economy hostage. I get it. unless I agree to their economic plans. All of you at home should know what those plans are. Instead of making the wealthy pay their fair share, some Republicans want Medicare and Social Security to sunset. I'm not saying it's a majority.
And you do too, Joe. You want to, don't lie. You've said it. We've heard it.
Let me give you, anybody who doubts it, contact my office. I'll give you a copy. I'll give you a copy of the proposal. That means Congress doesn't vote. Well, I'm glad to see you. I tell you, I enjoy conversion. You know, it means if Congress doesn't keep the programs the way they are, they'd go away. Other Republicans say, I'm not saying it's a majority of you. I don't even think it's even a significant, but it's being proposed by individuals. I'm not politely not naming them, but it's being proposed by some of you.
He's not naming them because it's all just political theater. They're just even though they all want this gone, they want to keep taking our money and not giving us anything, just like in Missouri. Okay, who pays most of the taxes in Missouri? The worker does. And who gets most of the tax money? They really suck at these, just keep giving subsidies to all these billion, $1 trillion companies. Okay. There's more homeless people in Missouri than ever. So these tax breaks are failing. I only see part. I saw a new Dairy Queen up around the corner. 2 more Dairy Queens. Ooh, those are some good paying jobs, buddy. Yeah.
Look, folks, the idea is that we're not going to be moved into being threatened to default on the debt if we don't respond. Folks,
Stop clapping. God, you're making it so freaking long.
so folks, as we all apparently agree, Social Security and Medicare is off the books now, right? They're not to be stopped.
Yeah, they're gonna take it. You didn't have to say any more, Joe. We already know you're taking it.
All right. Good. We got unanimity. Social Security, Medicare are a lifeline for millions of seniors. Americans have to pay into them from the very first paycheck they started. So tonight, let's all agree, and we apparently are. Let's stand up for seniors.
Oh, wait, there's another light. Wait. Medicaid and Medicare off table. It's going away. Oh, and Social Security too, right? Social Security, you mother.
Stand up and show them. We'll not cut Social Security. We will not cut Medicare. Those benefits belong to the American people. They earned it. And if anyone tries to cut Social Security, which apparently no one's going to do, and if anyone tries to cut Medicare, I'll stop them. I'll veto it. And look, I'm not going to allow them to be taken away. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. But apparently it's not going to be a problem. Next month, when I offered my fiscal plan, I asked my Republican friends to lay down their plan as well. I really mean it. Let's sit down together and discuss our mutual plans together.
Because that's what they've been doing all along. This is all, they work together. All this fighting and stuff, it's just all theater.
Let's do that. I can tell you, plan I'm going to show you is going to cut the deficit by another $2 trillion. And it won't cut a single bit of Medicare or Social Security. In fact, we're going to extend the Medicare Trust Fund at least 2 decades, because that's going to be the next argument. How do we keep it solvent, right? Well, we'll not raise tax on anyone making under 400 grand, but
Liar.
we'll pay for it the way we talked about tonight, by making sure that the wealthy and big corporations pay their fair share. Look,
Well,
here's the deal. They aren't just taking advantage of the tax code. They're taking advantage of you, the American consumer.
you have been letting them do that. You guys let them do that. I don't want to hear that shit, man. You guys made the laws, you passed it, and it's still going on because you guys did it, okay? Oh, like they just made up their own law. Oh, but they did.
Here's my message to all of you out there. I have your back. We're already preventing Americans from
I'll be stepping on your back when you're down in the gutter and robbing you and taking all your money and then taking your children's money.
receiving surprise medical bills, stopping $1 billion surprise bills from.
I think that's a threat right there. Okay, they're gonna let him come back. He just said that because now the lobbyists are gonna be all over it. Oh, we need this back. Hey, guess what? Go ahead, send me some bills. I will not pay them. I have nothing. You can't take nothing from me. I have nothing.
Months so far. We're protecting seniors' life savings by cracking down on nursing homes that commit.
Well, then why don't you crack down on Mr. Jerome Powell's our Federal Reserve guy? He is whatever the name of that, Carly. They are a very horrible company. They have nursing home violations out the wazoo, and we're having this guy handle inflation. I don't think so, man. Why don't you put Michael Hudson on that? Okay, put economist Michael Hudson in charge of that department. Then you'll see some real change. Oh, you're not gonna do that? Oh, because things might actually get better for the 90% that you keep claiming that you're doing. Liar.
Fraud, endanger patient safety, prescribe drugs that are not needed. Millions of Americans can now save thousands of dollars because they can finally get a hearing aid over the counter without a prescription.
What? What? I didn't hear you. I need a hearing aid.
Look, capitalism without competition is not capitalism. It's extortion. It's exploitation.
And we are the kings of exploitation. The Americans get this all the time, every single turn. Food, gas, cars, clothes, education, rent. We are exploiting them. And we're looking for more ways.
Last year, I cracked down with the help of many of you on foreign shipping companies that were making you pay higher prices for every good coming into the country. I signed a bipartisan bill to cut shipping costs by 90%, helping American farmers, businessmen, and consumers. Let's finish the job. Pass the bipartisan legislation to strengthen antitrust enforcement and prevent big online platforms giving their own products an unfair advantage.
He's talking about his donors right now, okay? So everything, all this, we're gonna do this, they're gonna pay their fair share. No, they're not. He don't, he tells the donors, he calls them right after these speeches and goes, I didn't mean it, I swear, please still give me money. Hunter needs to go into this new treatment place. He swears he's gonna stop this time.
My administration is also taking on junk fees, those hidden surcharges too many companies use to make you pay more. For example, we're making airlines show you the full ticket price up front, refund your money if your flight is canceled or delayed. We've reduced exorbitant bank overdrafts.
No, they haven't. I don't have a bank account. I use my job's pay card. They have a bank, but guess what? There is no overdraft fee because my account will just say declined. I like that better than paying $35 fees. They're probably 40 now.
By saving consumers more than $1 billion a year. We're cutting credit card late fees by 75% from $30 to $8.
Fees. Let's talk about fees. Franchise fees. Development fees. Shipping fees. Convenience fees. Storing fees. I think there's a book of fees. They just make them up. They're not stopping. They keep feeding it. They you know what? Fees are short for feed. They keep feeding the rich.
Look.
Get out of here, Maxine Waters. You. I want you guys to go home. Oh, but we don't have a home. Oh, bitch. I said I have a bad itch.
Young fees may not matter to very wealthy, but they matter to most other folks in homes like the one I grew up in, like many of you did. They add up to hundreds of dollars a month. They make it harder for you to pay your bills or afford that family trip. I know how
You don't know, Joan. You don't know. I might have to cut this short because it's really hard to finish this. Whew. All right, guys. It's so hard. I might just make the other video a little bit later because I worked a longer shift last night. I am tired. Anyways, thanks for listening. Like, subscribe, and share. And we need to get together so we can stop this crap. We need to resist. Resist and just say no. Wouldn't it be funny if we just stopped paying rent? Everybody, what are they going to do? Evict us all? I don't think so. Now I have to go to group therapy now. Where's the chief? Bye, guys.